The message came on a Tuesday morning. It reached every screen on Earth at the same time. Phones, televisions, computers, and even the old radio systems all carried the same voice. The voice was cold and spoke without feeling. People of Earth, you have been watched, you have been studied. The Galactic Council has decided your fate. You will provide 5,000 of your kind as tribute workers. You have 30 days. If you fail, your planet will be destroyed. The message ended. The world fell silent. In Seoul, Ambassador Park sat in her office and watched the recording play again. She was a small woman with sharp eyes and gray hair tied back in a neat bun. She had served her country for 40 years. She had seen wars, disasters, and political chaos, but she had never seen anything like this. Her assistant, a young man named, stood by the door. His hands were shaking. "What do we do?" he asked. Did not answer right away. She stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the city looked the same as always. Cars moved through the streets. People walked on sidewalks. Children played in a park nearby. They did not know yet. Soon they would. "We wait," said. "We wait and we think." The next few days were chaos. World leaders met in emergency sessions. Some wanted to fight. Others wanted to hide. A few even suggested giving the aliens what they wanted, but nobody could agree on anything. The aliens made contact again on the 5th day. This time, they showed themselves. A massive ship appeared above the Atlantic Ocean. It was black and smooth, shaped like a teardrop the size of a mountain. Military jets flew around it, but they looked like insects next to a whale. A hologram appeared above the ship. It showed a creature that looked almost human but not quite. Its skin was pale blue. Its eyes were too large. Its mouth was too wide. It wore golden robes and spoke with the same cold voice from the first message. "I am High Chancellor of the Galactic Council," the creature said. "Your world is young. Your people are useful, strong bodies, quick minds. You will serve the Council well. Send your tribute to these coordinates within 25 days. Do not disappoint us." The hologram vanished. The ship remained. Was called to Geneva the next morning. She flew on a military plane with General O, a man she had known for 20 years. Was tall and broad, with a face that rarely showed emotion. He had fought in 3 wars and commanded thousands of soldiers. Now he looked tired. "They think we are animals," said as they flew over the clouds. "They want to put us in cages and use us." "Yes," agreed. "That is exactly what they want. We should fight." "With what? Our weapons are toys to them. You saw the ship. One of those could destroy a continent." Was quiet for a long moment. "Then what do you suggest?" Looked out the window. "I suggest we give them what they asked for." In Geneva, the world leaders argued for 3 more days. Some countries wanted to refuse. Others wanted to negotiate. The United States proposed a military strike. Russia agreed. China did not. On the 3rd day, asked to speak. She stood before the assembly of presidents, prime ministers, and generals. They all looked at her with tired eyes. "We cannot win a war," said. "Not today, maybe not ever, but we can survive. We can be smart." "You want us to give them people?" the American president asked. "Our own citizens." "I want us to give them what they deserve," said. She pressed a button on her tablet. A list appeared on the main screen. It showed names, faces, and crimes. Murderers, terrorists, war criminals, people who had killed without mercy. People who sat in prisons around the world waiting to die. "These are our tribute," said. The council asked for humans. They did not say which humans. They did not ask for our best. They did not ask for they asked for bodies. We will give them bodies. The room was silent. "This is a trick," the British Prime Minister said. "They will know." "Will they?" asked. "They have studied us, yes, but they do not understand us. They see us as simple creatures. They expect us to cry and beg. They expect us to send our children and our farmers. They do not expect us to send our monsters." General stood up. He walked to the front of the room and stood beside. "I have studied their ship," he said. "I have studied their message. They are powerful, but they are arrogant. They believe they are above us. They believe we will obey without question. That arrogance is their weakness." "And what happens when they realize what we have done?" the French president asked. Smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a woman who had made a terrible decision and accepted it. "Then they will learn something about humanity," she said. "They will learn that we are not sheep. We are wolves, and wolves do not go quietly." The vote took 6 hours. It was not unanimous. Some countries refused to participate, but most agreed. The plan was set in motion. That night sat alone in her hotel room. She poured herself a glass of water and looked at the city lights outside her window. Somewhere out there, families were holding each other. Children were asking their parents if the aliens would hurt them. Young people were wondering if they had a future. Her phone rang. It was. "The council has acknowledged our acceptance," he said. "They are pleased." "Good," said. "Let them be pleased. It will not last." She ended the call and took a long drink of water. In 20 days, 5,000 of Earth's worst criminals would be loaded onto ships and sent to the stars. The council thought they were getting servants. They were getting a war. Closed her eyes. She wondered if she was making the right choice. She wondered if history would remember her as a hero or a villain. Then she decided it did not matter. What mattered was survival. What mattered was giving humanity a chance. Outside, the alien ship hung in the night sky like a dark moon. It was watching. It was waiting. It had no idea what was coming. The selection began 3 days after the vote. General flew to a secret military base deep in the mountains of South Korea. The base had no name on any map. It existed only in the minds of a few hundred people, and all of them had sworn to keep it secret. Captain Lee waited for him at the landing pad. She was young for her rank, only 32 years old, but she had proven herself in combat many times. She was smart, fast, and loyal, trusted her more than anyone else in the military. "The first group arrived this morning," said as they walked into the base. 50 prisoners from maximum security facilities in Asia. More are coming every hour. Nodded. "How are they behaving?" "Some are confused, some are angry, a few tried to fight the guards. We had to use force." "Did anyone die?" "Not yet." They walked through long concrete hallways. The air was cold and smelled like metal. Soldiers stood at every corner, their weapons ready. They passed through 3 security checkpoints before reaching the holding area. The holding area was a massive underground chamber. It had been built to hold weapons, but now it held people. Hundreds of cages lined the walls, each one containing a prisoner. The prisoners wore orange jumpsuits and heavy chains. Some sat quietly. Others paced like animals. A few screamed at the guards. Stopped in front of one cage. Inside sat a man in his 40s with a shaved head and tattoos covering his arms and neck. His name was, according to his file, he had killed 17 people during his time as a gang leader. He had also served 5 years in the military before his crimes. He was smart, dangerous, and completely without mercy. "Do you know why you are here?" asked. Looked up, his eyes were calm, almost bored. "They told us we are being sent to space, to serve aliens." "That is correct." "And you expect us to work for them, to be their slaves?" Smiled slightly. "No, I expect you to be yourselves." For the first time, something like interest appeared in his eyes. "What do you mean?" Leaned closer to the cage. "The aliens think they are getting servants, workers who will obey and follow orders, but we are not sending them workers. We are sending them you, murderers, fighters, survivors, people who have spent their whole lives taking what they want." Was quiet for a moment, then he laughed. It was a low, rough sound. "You are using us as weapons," he said. "Yes." "And what do we get in return?" Straightened up. "Freedom. If you survive and cause enough trouble for the aliens, Earth might have a chance. And if Earth survives, your crimes will be forgiven. You will be allowed to live as free citizens. And if we die, then you die knowing you hurt the people who wanted to enslave your species. Is that not better than dying in a cage on Earth? Thought about this, then he nodded slowly. I want to talk to the others, he said. The other prisoners, I can help you organize them. Looked at, she shook her head slightly, a warning, but had expected this. Men like did not simply follow orders. They needed to feel important. They needed power. Very well, said. But remember this. If you try to escape or cause problems before the mission begins, I will kill you myself. Smiled, understood, General. Over the next 2 weeks, prisoners arrived from every country. They came from America, Russia, Brazil, Germany, Japan, and dozens of other nations. They were murderers, terrorists, traffickers, and worse. The kind of people most societies tried to forget. Watched them arrive with growing unease. One evening she found alone in his office, studying reports. Sir, she said, may I speak freely? Always. She sat down across from him. This plan troubles me. These people are not soldiers, they are monsters. We are setting them loose on another civilization. Yes, we are. Does that not bother you? Put down his report and looked at her. Of course it bothers me. Every night I think about what we are doing. I think about the innocent aliens who might get hurt because of our decision. Workers, families, children perhaps. We do not know what waits for our prisoners out there. Then why do it? Because I have no choice. Stood and walked to a small window. Outside there was only rock and darkness. The council wants to enslave us, Captain. They see us as animals to be used. If we send them ordinary people, those people will suffer and die, and the aliens will come back for more. Again and again, until there is nothing left of humanity. But if we send them killers, then maybe, just maybe, those killers will cause enough problems to make the council think twice. Maybe they will spread chaos. Maybe they will start fires. Maybe they will make the aliens understand that humans are not worth the trouble. Was quiet. She understood the logic. She even agreed with it in a way, but something still felt wrong. What if the prisoners just cooperate? She asked. What if they decide being slaves is better than causing trouble? Shook his head. You do not know these people, Captain. I do. I have spent weeks reading their files, studying their histories. They are not capable of cooperation. They are not capable of bowing down. Every single one of them would rather die fighting than live on their knees. How can you be sure? Because that is why they are here. That is why they became what they are. Normal people follow rules. Normal people accept authority. These people never did. They fought against every system, every structure, every person who tried to control them. That is their crime. And now it will be their purpose. The final count came on the 20th day. 5,000 prisoners gathered from every corner of Earth. They were loaded onto transport ships provided by the Council. The ships were gray and windowless, designed to carry cargo. The aliens did not think humans deserved windows. Before the ships launched, visited the main holding bay one last time. Was there, standing at the front of a large group of prisoners. He had become their leader, as had expected. Remember what I told you, said. You are not going there to serve. You are going there to survive, and if you see a chance to cause trouble, we will take it, finished. Do not worry, General. The aliens wanted humans. They are about to find out what that really means. The ships launched at midnight. Watched them rise into the sky from a rooftop in Seoul. Stood beside her, his face pale. Do you think it will work? He asked. Did not answer right away. The ships became small lights in the darkness, then vanished completely. I do not know, she said finally. But I know one thing. Those aliens made a mistake when they demanded our people. They thought they were taking servants. They were taking soldiers. She turned and walked back inside. Whatever happened next was out of her hands. All she could do now was wait and hope that humanity's worst had enough fight left in them to give the galaxy something to fear. The journey took 17 days. The prisoners were kept in small metal rooms with no light and little food. The alien ships hummed with strange sounds. The walls vibrated with energy that made the humans feel sick. Some prisoners screamed. Others went quiet and still. A few tried to break down the doors, but the metal was too strong. Spent the journey thinking. He sat in the corner of his cell and planned. He had studied war before his life of crime. He knew how armies worked. He knew how empires fell. And he knew that the first step to winning any battle was understanding the enemy. On the 17th day, the ship stopped. The doors opened. Light flooded in. Harsh, white light that hurt the eyes. Guards stood outside. They were tall, thin creatures with pale blue skin and faces that showed no emotion. They carried long black weapons that hummed with energy. "Move," one of them said. Its voice was flat and mechanical. "Processing begins now." The prisoners were herded out of the ships and into a massive station. The station was called. It floated in the darkness of space like a metal city. Thousands of aliens walked its corridors. Ships came and went from its docks. It was the heart of Council territory, a place where species from 100 worlds came to trade and work. And now it was home to 5,000 human prisoners. Overseer stood on a platform above the arrival dock. He watched the humans file out with a satisfied expression. They looked weak and tired. Their orange jumpsuits were dirty. Their faces were thin from the poor food. This was good. Weak humans would be easier to control. "Begin processing," ordered. "Sort them by physical condition. The strongest go to the mining operations. The rest go to the factories." His assistant, a young officer named, nodded and left to carry out the orders. The processing took several hours. Each human was scanned, measured, and marked with a small chip implanted in their neck. The chip would track their location and monitor their health. If any human tried to escape, the chip would send a signal and guards would respond within minutes. Watched everything carefully. He noted how many guards there were. He noted where they stood. He noted the doors, the cameras, the weapons. His mind worked like a machine, collecting information and storing it away. When his turn came for processing, an alien grabbed his arm and pushed him toward a scanning platform. "Stand still," the alien said. Stood still. The scanner moved over his body. Numbers and images appeared on a screen nearby. "Strong physical condition," the alien noted. "Previous military training. This one goes to the mines." "The mines," repeated. "What will I be mining?" The alien looked at him with surprise. Most humans did not speak during processing. They were too scared. "Crystal ore," the alien said after a moment. "It powers our ships and weapons. Very valuable, very dangerous to extract." "Dangerous how?" "The tunnels collapse. The ore explodes if handled wrong. Many workers die." The alien smiled slightly. "But that is not your concern. You are property now. You do what you are told." Said nothing more, but inside he was smiling too. Tunnels that collapsed, or that exploded. These were not problems. These were opportunities. The humans were divided into groups and sent to different sections of the station, was placed with 300 others and marched to a dormitory near the mining operations. The dormitory was a long hall filled with metal beds. The beds were hard. The air smelled bad. There were no windows, no privacy, no comfort. That night found the other prisoners who had become his followers back on Earth. There were about 50 of them, scattered through the dormitory. He gathered them in a corner and spoke quietly. "They think we are beaten," he said. "They think we will work and obey. They are wrong." A woman named Myra leaned closer. She had been a gang enforcer before her arrest. She had killed 6 people with her bare hands. "What is the plan?" she asked. "First we learn. We watch the guards, we study the station. We find out where they keep their weapons, their ships, their supplies. Knowledge is power. And Then we start causing problems. Small problems at first, accidents in the mines, equipment that breaks, food that goes missing, nothing they can trace back to us, nothing they can punish us for. A man named Han Jin raised his hand. He had been a hacker before turning to more violent crimes. What about the chips in our necks? We need to find someone who can disable them, said. A technician, maybe. Someone we can convince to help. Convince, Myra smiled, or force. Whatever works. The weeks passed. The humans worked in the mines, in the factories, in the kitchens, and in the cleaning crews. They followed orders. They caused no trouble. The aliens began to relax. Perhaps these humans were not so bad after all. But underneath the surface, something was growing. People spread through the station like a disease. They talked to other prisoners. They found the angry ones, the desperate ones, the ones who had not given up. They whispered about plans and possibilities. They formed a network. In the mines, small accidents began to happen. Support beams broke. Equipment malfunctioned. Once, a small explosion destroyed a day's worth of ore. The aliens investigated but found nothing. It seemed like bad luck. In the factories, production slowed. Machines developed problems. Parts went missing. The aliens replaced the parts, but more went missing. They punished the workers, but nothing changed. In the kitchens, food began to taste strange. Not poison, just wrong. Aliens who ate it felt sick for days. The kitchen workers were questioned, but they claimed innocence. The food supplies were checked, but nothing was found. Overseer noticed the problems. He called meetings with his staff. He demanded explanations. "It is the humans," said one evening. "They are causing these problems." "Impossible," replied. "They are watched at all times. The chips track every movement. There is no way they could organize anything." "But the evidence—" "There is no evidence," slammed his hand on the desk. "Only accidents, only coincidences. You cannot blame the humans without proof." Was silent for a moment, then he spoke carefully. "Perhaps we should increase security, add more guards, restrict their movement even more." Considered this. It would be expensive. It would require resources. But if the problems continued, the council would ask questions, and did not want to answer questions. "Do it," he said, "and find out which humans are causing trouble. I want names." But getting names was not easy. The prisoners protected each other. When guards asked questions, everyone stayed silent. When threats were made, nobody talked. The aliens had never seen anything like it. Usually, prisoners betrayed each other quickly. Usually, fear was enough to break them. These humans were different. One night stood at a window in the dormitory. It was a small window, barely big enough to see through. But through it he could see the stars, millions of them scattered across the darkness like dust. Myra came to stand beside him. "The guards are getting suspicious," she said. "They took 3 of our people for questioning today." "Did they talk?" "No, they took beatings instead." Nodded. "Good. We are ready for the next step." "Which is?" He turned to look at her. In his eyes she saw something she recognized, the look of a predator preparing to hunt. "Now we stop hiding," said. "Now we show them what humans really are." The next morning, the first riot began. The riot started in the mining sector at exactly 6 in the morning. That was when the guards changed shifts. For exactly 3 minutes, there were fewer guards than usual. 3 minutes was all needed. A group of 50 prisoners attacked the weapons storage room. They had spent weeks watching the guards enter and leave. They knew the codes, stolen from a technician who had been convinced to help after some very painful conversations. The door opened. The humans rushed inside. The weapons were strange, long black tubes that fired bolts of energy. They were designed for alien hands, but human hands could use them too. Within seconds, 50 prisoners were armed. The guards responded quickly. Alarms screamed through the station. Doors locked. Emergency lights flashed red. But it was too late. The prisoners were already spreading through the mining sector like fire. Overseer watched from the command center. His face was pale. His hands were shaking. "How is this happening?" he demanded. "How did they get weapons?" Nobody could answer him. On the screens, chaos unfolded. Prisoners fighting guards, explosions in the tunnels, bodies falling. The humans were outnumbered, but they did not seem to care. They fought like animals. They fought like they had nothing to lose. Because they had nothing to lose. Led the main group through the mining tunnels. He had memorized every path, every turn, every dead end. He knew where to go and where to avoid. Behind him, Myra and Jin followed with dozens of others. "The ore storage is ahead," Jin said, checking a stolen tablet. "If we can reach it." "I know," said, "keep moving." They reached the ore storage chamber after 10 minutes of fighting. 3 guards blocked the entrance, shot 2 of them before they could react. Myra killed the 3rd with her bare hands. The door opened. Inside were thousands of crystal containers, each one filled with the ore that powered Council ships. The crystals glowed with a soft blue light. They were beautiful. They were also extremely dangerous. "Set the charges," ordered. Jin and 2 others pulled out small devices they had built in secret over the past weeks. The devices were crude, made from stolen parts and kitchen chemicals, but they would work. They would make the ore explode. "How long?" Myra asked. 30 minutes, Jin said. "That should give us time to reach the docking bay." "Then let us go." They left the storage chamber and continued through the station. By now, the riots had spread. Other groups of prisoners were attacking other sectors. The factories were burning. The kitchens were destroyed. Guards ran in every direction, trying to stop the chaos, but there was too much chaos to stop. Watched his station fall apart. His staff shouted reports at him, but he could barely hear them. This was impossible. This was supposed to be a simple operation. Collect the tribute. Put them to work. Report success to the council. Instead, everything was falling apart. "Send reinforcements to the mining sector," he screamed. "All available guards." "Sir, we do not have enough guards," replied. "The humans are everywhere." "Then call for help. Contact the nearest military outpost." "I already did. They are 6 hours away." 6 hours. In 6 hours, there might not be a station left to save. His group reached the docking bay after 20 minutes of fighting. The bay was huge, filled with ships of every size. Cargo ships, transport ships, military shuttles. The aliens had never thought to guard them heavily. Why would they? Prisoners could not fly alien ships. But prisoners could learn. Over the past weeks, people had watched the alien pilots carefully. They had studied the controls through windows and stolen manuals. They did not understand everything, but they understood enough. "Find a ship that works," ordered. "Something fast, something with weapons." Jin ran to a sleek black shuttle near the edge of the bay. He climbed inside and studied the controls. "This one," he called. "I can fly this one." The others followed him inside. There were 40 of them now. The rest had been killed or captured during the fighting, but 40 was enough. 40 humans on a stolen ship, armed with alien weapons, ready to escape. But did not get on the ship. Myra noticed and grabbed his arm. "What are you doing? We need to go." "Not yet," said. "There is one more thing I need to do. The charges will explode in 10 minutes. I know, go without me. Get the ship to safety. Find other humans if you can. Keep fighting." Myra stared at him. "You will die." "Maybe, maybe not. But someone needs to make sure the message is sent." "What message?" Smiled. It was not a happy smile. "The message that humans do not kneel." He turned and ran back into the station. Myra watched him go. Then she climbed onto the ship and shouted at Jin to launch. The shuttle rose from the docking bay and blasted into space. Behind it, the station grew smaller. On the screens, they could see fires burning in dozens of sections. They could see small figures fighting in the corridors. They could see chaos everywhere. Ran through the burning station toward the command center. Guards tried to stop him, but he was faster. He had always been fast. That was how he had survived on the streets of Seoul. That was how he had built his criminal empire. Speed and intelligence and the willingness to do whatever it took. He reached the command center in 5 minutes. The doors were locked, but he had stolen a master code weeks ago. The doors opened. Inside, Overseer stood alone. His staff had fled. His screens showed nothing but destruction. He turned when entered, and his large alien eyes went wide with fear. "You," whispered, "you did this." "Yes," said, "I did." "Why? We offered you a place. We offered you purpose. You could have lived." "You offered us chains," replied. "You offered us slavery. That is not life. That is death." He raised his weapon, raised his hands. "Wait, please. I can give you whatever you want. Power, freedom, anything." "I already have freedom," said. "I took it." He fired, fell to the floor and did not move, stepped over his body and walked to the main console. He found the communications system and opened a channel that would reach every council station, every council ship, every council world. "This message is for the Galactic Council," he said. His voice was calm and clear. "My name is, I am a human from Earth. You took my people as slaves. You thought we would bow. You were wrong." On the screens, alarms flashed. The ore charges were about to explode. "Wherever you take humans, we will fight. Wherever you put us, we will cause chaos. You cannot break us. You cannot control us. We are not your property. We are your nightmare." He paused. Outside the window, he could see the stolen shuttle flying away. Myra and the others had escaped. That was good. They would continue the fight. "Remember this day," said. "Remember what happened here, and know that this is only the beginning." The ore exploded. The station shook. Fire spread through every corridor, every chamber, every level. Stood at the window and watched the stars as the world burned around him. He was smiling. Across the galaxy, the message played on 1,000 screens. Aliens who had never seen a human watched in shock. They saw the fires. They heard the words. They felt something they had not felt in centuries. Fear. The news reached Earth 3 days after the explosion. A signal arrived from deep space, carrying images and sounds that no one had expected to see. Images of fire. Images of destruction. Images of a massive station torn apart from the inside. Ambassador sat in her office and watched the recording for the 5th time. His voice filled the room, calm and clear, even as alarms screamed behind him. "We are not your property. We are your nightmare." She turned off the screen and sat in silence, stood by the door, waiting. "He did it," said finally. "He actually did it." "Yes," replied. "But what happens now? The council will be angry. They might attack us." Shook her head slowly. "No, they will not attack, not yet." "How can you be sure?" "Because they are afraid." She stood and walked to her window. The sky was clear today. Birds flew past. Somewhere in the city, children were playing. Life continued. They thought they were dealing with simple creatures. Now they know the truth. Now they have to decide if we are worth the trouble. The council's response came 1 week later. This time it was not a demand. It was a request. High Chancellor's replacement, a creature named Tor, appeared on every screen on Earth. His voice was careful, measured, not cold like before. "People of Earth," Tor said, "the Galactic Council wishes to discuss the recent events at Station. We request a meeting with your leaders, a peaceful meeting. No threats, no ultimatums, just conversation." The world leaders gathered in Geneva again. This time the mood was different. There was still fear, but there was also something else, something like hope. General arrived with a report from military intelligence. He spread papers across the table and pointed to satellite images. "The alien fleet has moved back," he said. "Their main ships are no longer in threatening positions. They have also stopped all tribute collection operations throughout the galaxy. Other species are reporting that their workers are being released. All because of one explosion, the American president asked. One explosion and one message. Looked at. Your prisoners caused more damage in one day than our militaries could have caused in a year. Did not smile. Many of them died. We sent 5,000 people to that station. Less than 100 escaped. But those 100 are still out there, Captain added. She had joined the meeting as assistant. Our signals show they have captured 3 more ships since. They are recruiting other humans who were taken as tribute from previous worlds. Their numbers are growing. An army of criminals in space, the British Prime Minister muttered. What have we created? A weapon, said. A weapon the Council cannot control, and that is why they are afraid. The meeting with Tor took place on neutral ground, a station at the edge of Council territory, far from Earth and far from. Went as Earth's representative, along with General and a small group of advisors. Tor was waiting in the conference room. He was taller than had been, with darker blue skin and older eyes. He wore simple robes instead of golden ones. He looked tired. Ambassador Park, he said, gesturing to a seat, thank you for coming. You did not give us much choice, replied. Your message suggested that refusing would have consequences. Tor sighed. Yes, old habits. The Council is used to giving orders, not making requests. This is new for us. What do you want? Tor was silent for a moment. Then he pressed a button on the table. A hologram appeared, showing the galaxy. Hundreds of lights marked Council stations and planets. Some of the lights were blinking red. Since there have been 37 incidents involving humans, Tor said, riots, sabotage, escapes. Your people have spread through our territory like a virus. They attack our supply lines. They free other tribute workers. They send messages encouraging rebellion. I thought humans were simple creatures, said, easy to control. Tor's expression flickered. Was that embarrassment? We underestimated you, he admitted. We believed what we wanted to believe, that your species was young and weak and ready to serve. We did not realize. He stopped. Did not realize what? That you do not surrender, that you fight even when fighting is hopeless, that you would rather die than live as slaves. Tor shook his head. In 10,000 years of Council history, no tribute species has ever caused this much damage. No species has ever refused to break. Leaned forward, and now you want us to stop them. Yes. Why should we? Tor looked at him with surprise. Because they are destroying our infrastructure, because they are costing us resources and lives. Because if this continues, the Council might decide that Earth is too dangerous to exist. The room went cold, felt her heart beat faster, but she kept her face calm. Is that a threat? She asked. It is a fact. Tor's voice was heavy. There are members of the Council who want to destroy your planet right now. They say humans are too dangerous. They say it is better to eliminate the problem than to live with it. And what do you say? Tor was quiet for a long moment. Then he did something did not expect. He bowed his head. I say we were wrong, he said. I say we should have treated you as equals, not as animals. I say the Council made a terrible mistake when it demanded tribute from Earth, and now we are paying for that mistake. Looked back. Neither of them had expected this. What are you proposing? Asked. Peace, Tor said. Real peace. Earth becomes a protected world. No more tribute demands, no more threats. Your people in our territory will be offered safe passage home. In exchange, you help us calm the situation. You ask your warriors to stop fighting. They are not our warriors, said. They are criminals, murderers, terrorists. We cannot control them. But they are still human. They will listen to Earth. Thought about this. She thought about standing in that burning station, sending his message to the galaxy. She thought about Myra and Jin and the others, flying through space in stolen ships, fighting an empire with nothing but rage and desperation. Would they listen to Earth? Would they stop if she asked them to? She did not know, but she knew one thing. This was an opportunity, a chance to turn Earth's darkest moment into something better. "I will make the call," she said finally, "but I want more than protection. I want a seat on the council, full membership, equal rights for humans throughout the galaxy." Tor blinked. "That is unprecedented. So is destroying one of your stations with a handful of prisoners. Unprecedented is what humans do." Tor looked at his advisors. They whispered among themselves. Then he turned back to, "I will present your terms to the council. I cannot promise they will accept. Then I cannot promise our people will stop fighting." They stared at each other across the table. Two representatives of two civilizations, trying to find a way forward from the edge of war. Finally, Tor nodded. "You are a difficult species, Ambassador Park." "Yes," agreed, "we are." The message went out to the escaped prisoners 1 month later, recorded it herself, speaking directly to the camera. "This is Ambassador Park of Earth. I am speaking to all humans in Council space. The war is over. The Council has agreed to peace. Earth is protected. You can come home." She paused. "I know many of you do not want to stop fighting. I know you have found purpose in this struggle, but there are other ways to fight. Better ways. Come home. Help us build something new. Help us show the galaxy what humans can become." The recording ended, sent it out and waited. The responses came slowly. Some prisoners surrendered immediately, eager to return to Earth. Others refused. They had tasted freedom among the stars and did not want to give it up. They formed their own groups, their own communities, living outside council law. But the largest group, led by Myra, sent a single message in reply. "We will stop fighting the council, but we will not come home. There are others out there, other species who need help, other slaves who need freedom. We will find them, we will free them. The galaxy is our home now." Read the message and smiled sadly. She had expected this. Some people, once broken free, could never be put back in a cage, not even a comfortable one. A year later, she stood on the council floor as Earth's first official representative. Aliens from 100 worlds watched as she took her seat among them. Some looked at her with respect. Others looked with fear. A few looked with hatred. She did not care. She was here. Humanity was here, and nothing would ever be the same. In the far reaches of the galaxy, a ship flew through the darkness. On its hull, someone had painted words in English. "We do not kneel." Myra stood at the window and watched the stars pass. Behind her, dozens of humans and other freed slaves prepared for their next mission. Another station, another group of prisoners to free. She thought about his sacrifice, about his message. She wondered if he would be proud of what they had become. Then she turned from the window and got back to work. The galaxy had learned to fear humans. Now it would learn to respect them. One way or another.